Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
You can start running.
This is Mercy Wednesday night meeting, the 26th.
All right, we're back. Thanks for hanging around. Welcome back out there in virtual land. And hello there on Channel 23 in Salem area. This is the Mercy Weekly Meeting. And I am your host with the most information, news and information on medical cannabis. As the issue unfolds here in Oregon, across America, and around the world. Let's see, where should we start? I suppose with local news and information. Every Wednesday here at 1745 Capitol Street Northeast is the Mercy Weekly Meeting. Try to start it off around 7 o'clock. Its purpose is to network folks to resources relative to the issues that they're facing concerning medical cannabis here in Oregon. And that is how to get your card, and where to find medicine now, and what's the best forms of medicating. Also, if you're some folks are able to and would prefer to grow themselves. And so how does one get the resources for that? What are all the things that is necessary to know? Further, we have information on changes, whether or not you're making a change yourself, you're going to move, or you're changing from growing yourself to getting a grower, or vice versa. We have the forms and the information on how to get these things done. Also, changes to the program and how best to make a change yourself or manage the existing ones. A big change that's happening is that March 1st, officially March 3rd, the medical marijuana facilities are going to be legal here in Oregon. This is as close as we're going to get probably to dispensaries, although it's a misnomer to refer to it as a dispensary. Yeah.
I thought the 3rd was when they were accepting online applications.
That's correct. Folks should be aware that the process for applying is purely online. Folks can go to mercycenters.org for all this information and more. All the necessary links. You can get a copy of the form that you're going to be filling out online. And then submitting. So you can get the form ahead of time. Also, you can get the background check form, which is going to need to be submitted with it to fill that out and send it along. Hold on here just a moment, folks, while I do some fiddling around with a couple of things. So folks need to stay tuned to us here at Mercy Center to get all the facts on these things that are happening. I'm updating our information on medical marijuana facilities, colloquially known as dispensaries, although that's quite a misnomer. We don't want to strain people's brains too much with the heavy concepts here. The relevant things to be aware of is, of course, the fees and rules and regulations. The application fee is is $500. It's a non-refundable $500 fee to apply, and if you're not rejected, there's another $3,500 due for actually registering. So it's going to cost you $4,000 in the licensing fee just to get in the door. Yeah.
Will they have to get a business license and a city license that as well?
Whatever business rules will be applying. The move is on to ban the dispensaries or the medical marijuana facilities at county and state levels. And one of the ways they're going to be trying to do that is to require extra licensing and permits and things like that. But currently, there's no extra business license for the medical marijuana facilities. But whatever the current their area has for any business would apply to them. Yeah. So that's something that folks need to be aware of. Along with the security system requirements, the testing requirements for the medicine, and the bookkeeping and accounting level that needs to go on. Also, there's a restriction in what action activities can take place in what areas, such that you need 4 separate rooms to conduct this business, and possibly for at least 4 people to manage the area and properly secure the medicine and so forth. So folks should really make sure of their situation, status. Of course, the big biggest rule, the one that's going to have the most impact on places, is that they can't operate within 1,000 feet of a school or another medical marijuana facility. So as soon as those are established, they'll be marked on a map. There's a special map that has the areas laid out currently, and it'll be done on a first come, first served basis. So that is probably one of the bigger roadblocks for a place to open up currently. So just to let folks know that the some key provisions in the rules for being a owner operator of a medical marijuana facility: no person convicted of the manufacture or delivery of a Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 substance in the past 5 years will be allowed to register a dispensary. Persons with more than 1 conviction are permanently banned from operating dispensaries. No dispensary may open or operate within 1,000 feet of a primary or secondary school. No dispensary may open or operate within 1,000 feet of another dispensary. Applications for competing locations will be processed on a first-come, first-served basis. Dispensaries must be located only in areas zoned commercial, industrial, or agriculture. That means no residential. So that's one zoning thing that would apply to them probably more restrictively than it would for any other business. A person trying to open up an at-home business out of their place would probably not have any issues, whereas these facilities will. All medical marijuana or cannabis distributed through dispensaries must be tested for pesticides, mold, and mildew, and may not be distributed if contaminants are found. There must be a strong security system in place. In fact, one of the items of the rules is that the cannabis must be secured in an area, and folks need to find out that this may include a safe. You may need to put your medicine and all your be able to put your stuff in a safe, or a room that is as secure as a safe. That's one of the reasons why the folks need to get the rules, study them in detail, and if in doubt, contact one of the many resources that we have listed on our website for legal help regarding these matters. Also, another resource that we want to take the opportunity to point out is insurance. And this is also not just for the medical marijuana facilities coming online, but for regular individuals who have a medical marijuana grow, also for co-ops, but mostly for Jane and Joe Citizen, their grower. You can get insurance for your crop failure. You can get insurance for like the basic loss due to damage or theft. But most importantly and excitingly is that there's also raid insurance offered. So check out agent420.biz for more information on the exciting insurance options coming available to the cannabis community here in Oregon and soon, I'm sure, across America. So back to our discussion on the medical marijuana facilities, aka dispensaries, as they're going to be happening here in Oregon. All product must be, we're talking about the rules and regulations for the owner-operator, the facility. All product brought into and dispensed from the facility must be accounted for. And in discussions about the rules, I do believe that they're not expecting it to be down to the microgram, tenth of a gram, or even a gram. There's a lot of margin for error, 5-10 grams per ounce, I believe, or something of that nature. But we'll get more detail on that, let folks know. Yeah.
So they're getting their cannabis medicine from the cartel, or from the patients, or from who's their grower?
Well, the facility right now, the way the system works is that grower, a card holder with excess medicine can bring it to these facilities and be reimbursed for that medicine. This is what wasn't allowed before. A patient can reimburse their grower for expenses, but can't really do anything extra for labor, whether or not there is excess available or not. So it sets up a means for someone to be reimbursed for their excess medicine. The grower with the excess takes it to the facility, is reimbursed. Card holders that want to get the excess, have access to it, go to the facility and then reimburse the facility for that medicine.
So will they do the testing right there and then, so the grower will get reimbursed, or will he have to wait a couple days to a week to get the testing back from the sample?
The testing equipment and process is not cheap, and the space to properly do that, to have a controlled environment and things of that nature, would kind of prohibit each facility from having their own ability to test. So it will undoubtedly be sent out to be tested, and so whatever time frame is involved in that. Unfortunately, also, whatever expense is involved with that too. That's one of the ways
Here's a nice comfortable couch.
that the price is going to be driven up
Oh,
and
it is.
possibly put out of the market, so folks can't afford it. So.
We're
No,
on
hey,
TV.
welcome to our meeting.
I saw him on the screen back there, so.
Well, we're doing an internet broadcast, simulcast. I'm filming for channel 23 Comcast. And this is our Wednesday night meeting. So, are you looking for a grower, or you want to be somebody's grower? Do you have
My
a...
son and I are looking for,
Okay.
I'm his caretaker.
So what we want to do then is check the board in the back there, I guess, and at some point here, and see if there's any folks have left their contact info there. We unfortunately don't have any growers here at the meeting right now. Some may show up later, but that's probably what, if none show us, what we'll do is go there.
Just brought me up.
Another thing is for folks to go online and look for a grower. So, and the forums, do you have online access?
Yeah.
We have off our webpage at mercycenters.org. We have a link to a page where we've got a list of forums. So you can go check them out. Also a couple of bulletin boards. You can leave the note saying, hi, I'm looking for a grower. And leave your email address or direct them to meet you here on Wednesday night or sometime during the day. You know, we let the place is available for folks if they want to meet up and network or exchange medical cannabis resources.
That would probably be best because I used to have an email address, but I haven't used it for a while, and
Yeah.
I just assume not.
So yeah, you can just leave a notice there. Say hi, this is so and so, nom de plume, you know, a nickname if you want. You don't have to leave your full name, and you know, leave your phone number at your discretion there. If you want to, you know, if you're in a position where you can publish your phone number, saying,
Well,
hey,
it
give me
might
a
be
call.
better if we just meet down here. I guess.
Right. So that's what a lot of folks do. Say, hey, meet me at the Mercy meeting Wednesday, weekly meeting Wednesdays.
That's what I thought I was coming down to this evening. I
Sure,
was
sure,
just
but
curious.
you know, post it on the bulletin boards. We have several bulletin boards on our website, and yeah, you may have to come back several times. It's not always, obviously, we don't have growers here every meeting, you know, as it shows. So.
If you write down your name and your contact phone number, somebody will get in contact with you in a day or two.
Hopefully,
Hopefully you can help out and
Should I give my son's name or both of our names? We live
Both.
together.
both the names.
it's jumping yet.
Move the chair out.
I keep knocking the desk. Is it real or
Yes.
it's beautiful and healthy?
Just put down the contact person's name at this point.
That would be me.
See,
Yes.
so yeah, as far as
He's
the.
in bed most of the time. He's bedridden.
Mhm. As far as that goes. Now, as far as other information that'd be relevant to share with the potential grower is the amount of funding that you're able to contribute to the garden on a monthly basis and how much medicine you'll be needing on
You
a
know,
monthly
that's
basis.
what I was a little foggy about. I don't know what that generally runs. My son gets SSI. And a lot of that money goes out for other types of bills. I just started recently getting Social Security, but because we're in arrears on our property taxes, we've already agreed that I'm going to take a portion of it every month to pay the car and home insurance with maybe $100 to work with after that, and the rest goes for the property taxes to try to start paying that down. We've been very poor for quite a while, and the only money that we had coming in, because I became ill myself about 3 years ago and I had to stop working, was my son's SSI. So we get food stamps as well. And, things are looking up at this point, but as to an acceptable amount that a grower might be willing to
Or just
have.
put down what you can. That's just something that the grower is going to want to know. You know, is say, hey, well, can they help with the garden at all? If so, how much? And how much medicine is the patient going to need?
Well,
So
and
that's
I'm
another
not
thing,
sure
so.
about that either.
If you can, I'm just saying that those
I
are
know.
pieces of info if we can get to the grower.
I'm trying to think, see, I don't know how often this would be provided either. I mean, I'm a complete novice here
Mhm.
and close to ignorant. So I don't know how all of this works. It's almost like I have to be taken by the hand, you know, to direct me in terms of getting information that would be helpful to us and
That's
whoever else
why I
might be
gave you
involved.
the cannabis connection there. Several different issues. They got recipes in there. Do you have your card at this time?
Yeah, it's in my card. My card.
Okay.
I'm thinking right now, I don't know if how well this would work for Matthew. But I'm thinking right now, maybe a ballpark figure, maybe 50 a month. I don't know.
Well, that's what.
what
Yeah, I'm
these-
just saying whatever you could do. You know, that's what we should include on
And
the
that's
note there
about the most
to
that-
pass on to the grower, potential growers that come in, because folks will come in during the week and talk about growing or have questions. We'll ask them if they have room in their gardens and stuff, and so it's good to have the information on hand to say, well, here's a patient. This is what their needs are. This is how much they can help. So, because those are the first two things they're going to ask.
Well,
I think before.
As far as
You know,
Matt's
so-
concerned, I mean, he'd smoke constantly
So.
if he could. So as to how much he could go through potentially, I don't really know. I only know that he goes through probably about, let's say, one of those little small babies. One of those size. If that's filled up, he goes through that every 2 days. So I don't know how that would add up quantity-wise. You know, instead of buying it incrementally like that, little tiny small amounts, I don't know how much that would add up to on a monthly basis, let's say. My guess is we might have to do more than one transaction during if that's what you call it, during the month. But again, I don't.
Well,
know
yeah.
how it
So
works.
trying to get a handle of the hopefully the grower can to match them, but folks who are high needs, so terminal patients, yeah, and you're hopefully going to get a grower that's already established. You don't have to wait for them to hit their cycle. If you get an outdoor grower, they can provide usually. Now the patient can have up to 24 ounces there. So folks who are growing outdoors and they have a yearly harvest, they get that all at that time, and then that's what the patient is supposed to work with for the year. Now 24 ounces is 2 ounces a month, so but it's not the
Is that 24 ounces a year?
yeah.
Because that's why I wanted to ask, because the way it's worded on at least one of the
Well,
on the
it's not that
website,
you're allowed.
it's just basically
The
saying,
patient
you
is
can't
allowed to
have more
possess 24 ounces at any one
at
time.
but it
So
doesn't
if
say
they
how
harvested
much
and
that.
gave them some for the year, then that would be that 24 ounces. Now, if he used up 12 ounces, in that time frame, he could go to try to get some more. I doubt his grower would be able to provide that to them because,
Well,
like I said, that only in an outdoor grow would you be able to get 24 ounces in one crop to give to somebody. If it was an indoor, there would probably be 2 to 3 ounces per harvest cycle for that. So the patient may need to get by with that, but that's probably a higher quality medicine. It's it's more dense. You probably have more weight for that medicine per quantity and stuff like that.
Well, I've talked to him about he needs to start conserving a little bit in terms of whatever he gets when he gets it, because we either can't afford if we've gone to a couple of other dispensaries, and so they accept a donation. It's usually at $5 at a time, and they give very little in return. But I've suggested to my son that he needs to try to work out something within his own daily habits so that he's not going overboard, so that he's conservatively using what he has for what he needs it for. And that's up to him, because he can't expect there's going to be some kind of unlimited supply anytime.
Yeah, this grower,
That's what
is
I'm
not going to
concerned
be like this magic tree. These rumors of these huge tree like marijuana plants producing hundreds of ounces and blah blah blah. That's a myth. Large cooperative groups may be able to do that, but they've got a number of folks it's divided amongst, you know.
What is your name again?
I'm Perry.
Perry.
Yeah.
We're very new to this,
Mhm.
and I don't have any kind of social life insofar as interacting with people that are involved with the program, other than maybe Sunny, or maybe a couple of other people up at one of the dispensaries. I had suggested to Sunny last night that I thought, if 2 ounces a month, and I ran that by my son as well, should probably be all right for him.
Mm.
But that means he's going to have to discipline himself in terms of how often and
Yeah,
how
you'd
much
think.
he's smoking. Because if he runs out, that's it. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, as far as this note that we're putting together to put out, post on our wall and show to folks. Eventually, we'll try and get some, and also you'd want to. It's the same note. You'd want to go to the forums and post there to say, "Hi, I'm so and so. Here's my situation. Anybody can help out. Great, So.
I'm one of those people that is at this point in time now. I don't like doing anything online.
Well, I'm just saying those are the only ways. You're not gonna. Nobody's gonna come to your. These growers are very hard to find, and all. So they're not gonna go door to door and ask people if they are. You're gonna have to get out to find them.
I'm not
also.
saying they'd be soliciting. I'm just saying whoever else might be trolling those forums.
Well, you're gonna have to. I
Personal
mean, you're gonna have to go to the
information,
forums and stuff. No one. Yeah, that's. It's not. We're not able to go to the forums and look for you. So you're gonna.
No.
Your son or somebody you
No,
know
I
that's
can do
way
that. I'm
not
just
savvy.
saying,
So.
communicating with people online or exchanging information I would not be involved in. I'm not comfortable with that.
Well, I'm saying this note that you're putting together, we're going to post it on our wall, and when folks come in, so every information that you want to put there, as far as on the back, you can put your phone number, so we'll have it to let folks know or something.
Well, let me just ask you a straightforward question. Depending upon how many people you know, let's say you guys might know, would $50 a month be considered reasonable or fair for, let's say, 2 ounces? I'm not talking about street value. I don't know anything about this. Street value stuff, it's way more than that. I know that. But in terms of how it's helping my son, I don't know how much people are offering. I have no idea, and I don't know if that would be acceptable or not. But we're on a very restricted budget.
Well, that's again, you're talking about a garden. You want a garden or a grower, a garden situation that you guys can be a part of. Someone's going to grow for you. So what your expectations are, you're gonna want to communicate to your grower what your expectations are. Now you're saying you're thinking about 2 ounces a month. So if your grower is an outdoor guy, he might be able to do it on a yearly basis, get you that big load, and that might be a doable. Whether or not that would for 50 only 50 a month, I don't know. That would be something we'd have to see. I'm not familiar with a situation that's like that, so I really can't say. It's not on the end of it. For folks that are indoor growers, they usually harvest once every 3 months. The crop is sometimes where it's 2 ounces, it's like 6 ounces, so you get 2 ounces a month for that. But that's kind of at the high end.
Well, I talked with Matthew earlier today, and I mentioned to him, I said, I don't know how much quantity is harvested from, let's say, 1 to 3 plants. Let's say you've got 3 plants going for 1 patient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the harvest for that would be. And then in addition, if he has to start growing new plants, I don't know how long the grow period is or how much delay there is potentially between one harvest versus another. I don't have any idea about that stuff.
Well, it's 6 plants are allowed per patient, so that would be the thing there. And again, depending on your situation, if you're outdoor, you can get more on it, but you don't have the continuous growth cycle.
What might be the average quantity that could be harvested from, let's say, 6 plants?
If you're fortunate, if everything works out right, then you can get 2 ounces a month out of the situation there. You can get a plant that has 24 ounces on a yearly, so you get 2 ounces a month out of that.
Are the same plants?
It's not the same.
Yes.
No, I mean, if
Are there
in
new
an
plants each
an outdoor situation, you don't get as many buds. They're not as tightly packed. You're not able to control all the factors and elements like you are with an indoor grow. So you're able to do quantity, a lot more quantity, but the quality is something that you don't have as much control over, and so forth. That's why folks who are getting more and more specialized with their medicinal needs, they need a certain strain, they need particular grow cycle methods. Folks that don't want to get high, so they instead of doing
My son
their
wants both pain reliever and high.
so the folks that don't want to reduce the high would do the reverse of folks that try to increase it. So with getting the most out of it, you do your dark cycle. Well, do the reverse then for folks that are trying to reverse that process.
Well, and that's another thing I just thought of. Our primary reason for doing this, at least mine, was for the purpose of trying to help my son alleviate the pain that he has.
Mm-hmm.
He jumped off a bridge a couple years ago, shattered his ankles and his heels, broke his tibia. The surgery that was done on him was not good, and certainly not done by an expert in the field of podiatry. He was a trauma surgeon. I'm sure at the time he did the best he could. But during the interim, over the last 2 years, there have been developments in my son's feet that have made it almost impossible for him to walk. He's just had 2 surgeries, December 17th, and then a month later it was discovered, because we started getting signs, we didn't know it was an infection. He'd had a blood blister, but the first surgery was done by a surgeon who actually offered to do it for free because he was so concerned about the possible infection that might develop, while both of us had the same insurance, kept declining him. And they were able to get that turned around, but the bottom line is, by February 5th, which was a little over a month later, about a month and a half later, he did in fact develop an infection and had to be admitted the same day. And he was in psychosis. They weren't giving him his psych meds. That's another thing. My son's schizoaffective as well. So he's got a full plate between suffering from bipolar and schizophrenia and his physical pain. He's a young man, he's 32, and wanting to live life in as close to normal as possible. That's what we're fighting for. And one way of doing that is to try to cut the pain, because he can't get painkillers, and frankly I don't want him on painkillers all the time anyway. And so he doesn't have anything to cut that pain. So that was our primary reason for getting involved in the program. However, we don't know, and I don't know frankly whether Matthew knows himself really or not, although he talks with people. We don't know what particular strains might be best for him to cut that pain. That's something important, I think, for us to be able to find out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if he's getting high. I do not care. I had a decade's worth of that myself. But I'm 62 now,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to manage everything, including taking care of my son. Manage the house, bills, grocery shopping, getting him booked for doctor's appointments, getting him there and everything else, shopping. So my hands are full as well, and all I want is for him to have some peace of mind and to be in as little pain as possible. Right now he's going down, he's halfway through antibiotic infusion therapy down at the hospital, which should never have happened. Should never have happened. But you do what you have to do and you take care of whatever gets dumped in your lap the best you can. But I'm trying to help my son have some kind of quality of life is what I'm looking for. I'm sorry if I'm emotional, but to be a young man and to not be able to be free and independent, to go where he wants, to do what he wants, and to feel trapped and in prison. That's what he feels like all the time. He's attempted suicide twice because of this. So I've got to try myself, because I feel obligated to, I love him, to try to take as much stress off of him as I can and to give him the best life that is possible at this point in time. And so this is part of it. And, so anyway, but it's like I basically have to be taken by the hand, you know, to
Right. So
assist
that
me in
again, so we'll start with this note here that we're going to take and forward about to folks. Just write down again those items that we'll want to communicate to the grower, and we'll get the ball started. Unfortunately, there's not. There was a time where we had a number of folks here that were growers that would come to the meeting, and there was a lot of options,
this evening.
but it's dwindled, and
Are they getting scared?
yeah, the war goes on.
That stupid war.
And unfortunately, we're seeing some effect due to the upcoming medical marijuana facilities that potentially coming online. Folks will be able to take their excess there and be reimbursed for it. And hopefully we'll see more growers come about because of that. Right now, there was little to no advantage for growers. I mean, they were fortunate enough if they got reimbursed, so they didn't lose money on it.
Well,
so
that's why I'm saying I don't even have any idea what those figures might be
well, it's
in terms of what's offered to them by the patients.
there's very few. The kind of the number, the 2 ounces is at the high end. For being able to get a good, solid 2 ounces out of your crop there. And so if a grower now a grower could have 4 patients. So if a grower is able, and then several growers can use the same vicinity for their growing. So if you can get a cooperative or be a part of a cooperative, then that's much better for you. They've got medicine now, so you can become a part of it and get somebody else's medicine and all. But those are almost a thing of the past too. Now you got some of the oil for the.
Yeah. This is my healing oil. You only need that much to rub in where you're hurting.
We've heard of the oil, but
You can cook with this.
and this
You can-
does or does not have THC in it.
Well, it has THC in it, but applying it topically reduces the toxicity. You don't get high off applying it by rubbing it in. So.
Yeah, well, I know he likes to get high, but
then
Well,
you
hopefully-
cook with it.
Hopefully that's not
You
his
would
basis
cook
for
with
its
it.
working for him there. Yeah, you can take it internally.
well,
and,
I
so-
would love to see something like that rubbed on his feet
Well, there.
once
There you
they're
go.
all healed up and clean and.
Give that a try there. So there you go.
You're
Yeah.
giving this?
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Well,
you
I
need
would
more,
hold on
you
to
got-
it because his feet are still, he's not cleared yet, he's not healed up, and I don't want any possible infection. So I would hold off on using it
Okay.
till it's
So
all healed up.
Is on
That's all it
the
is.
internet, is our Sparks patient on there and their results?
No, they haven't given us the okay to publish that.
They told me when they gave it to us, yes, it was okay.
Uh-huh.
That's why they gave it to us.
They haven't replied by email with that to my thing on it. But
Okay.
anyway, so that's why it's not accessible yet there. But
Well,
there's
one-
not the formula for that isn't there. So if you wanted to share that with folks, that you can do that.
I'm just gonna make this as brief as possible. If somebody is interested in inquiring to find out more, then they would be able to.
Yeah, then so
directly
boom,
better
arrange
begin
again,
the
arrange the
conversation.
meeting here. You know, like I said, leave the phone number for us, our purposes, like on the back of it or something. So just the scene there is name, looking for grower, could contribute this much dollars, need this much medicine. Thanks. You know,
All right.
yeah.
I hope they don't think we're being stingy. We're not. And as to what the expectation is, I don't have any expectation. You know, whatever somebody can offer is what we'll have to accept, you know?
Yep.
This give it to him, rub it in where he's hurting. It's olive oil, onion and garlic and cannabis. The mash is over 10 years old. It's being constantly added to with cannabis and after each
Hello,
season.
hello.
And
You all
then
read me out there.
the olive oil.
Well, we'll have to hold off for right now,
Whatever.
because his feet are all bandaged. He has wound care twice a week, and his wounds are still not closed up yet. He could have died from this infection. I mean, he has 6 weeks worth of infusions he has to go through. So I'll be really glad when that's done.
Well, if
But
that
he
doesn't,
can't bear weight and he can't wash yet. So,
when he's tired of all this stuff, to try it.
I'd
I
be glad
mean, if that's your last chance, try it before you have to do amputation.
to. Shall I put my son's name down?
Yes.
He's the one that needs to
Not
grow.
not as far as, I mean, it's not relevant as far as the, you know, the grower. Like I said, we just, you know, a contact person name. We'll relay the phone number
I'll
if
just
they're
put
vetted.
contact person and I'll put
But
that in.
no, the name isn't really relevant.
Just
I
my
mean,
first name.
yeah, I guess. Who they should ask for when they come to the meeting here.
Because I'm the one that has access to the phone all the time. We only have one phone, it's in the den. You can't get to it very easily.
Someday we'll have a classified ad section system in place where folks can, you know, put their ad like the classifieds with a little reference number, and folks dial that reference number like a phone box and leave their voice message for the person. Try to set up the same thing online so folks can post something there without exposing their email address, kind of a thing.
Doesn't Xena have something down in Eugene where he would help a patient?
Yeah, there's one of the forums that we would suggest to folks is patient2grower.net. Let me get that website for you. Yeah, that's growers 2, the number 2, patients.net. A website to address the very pertinent issue of matching the growers to the patient. So, and that's a good example of a forum type where someone goes and leaves a comment saying, I'm looking for a,
Anybody reading this is gonna say, yeah, right.
well, it's the only way at this point, unfortunately.
Well, you have
Yeah,
to
like I said,
start
unless we're-
somewhere and then start negotiating.
We'll
That's
try
true.
to, work it so we can start broadcasting them on TV and putting them on radio, so and so looking for and, and
I'm gonna,
do our best to do that matchup. But yeah, it's not, obviously, it's not a lot of folks out there growing for folks and don't need, and are in a situation where it's not costing them or they don't care about the cost. So when we end the war, that may be a lot more possible.
I'm putting my home number on the back side.
Okay, good.
I'm not putting it on the front, but if they read this and they want to inquire,
Right.
I just put down looking for grower, contact person Suzanne, can afford about 50 monthly, very limited income, would like about 2 ounces monthly if possible.
Okay.
Or whatever, I don't know what else
Yeah.
I should put down if anything.
Or best can do, yeah. So yeah, we'll post it there, and
There.
like I said, the only other thing would be to try other meetings and meetups. We try to keep a list of those. There's not a lot of them. Certainly none of the dispensaries around town do anything of that nature. Unfortunately, it's not in their interest for you to become independent. They want you to keep coming back to them. Whereas our philosophy is we really prefer to teach people to fish rather than constantly fishing for them. Because soon we're going to, run out of fish. Somebody's got to be doing some fishing here. Same reason we don't believe in the big Uber garden. We've never been one for getting a big space and everybody come to our garden thing. We much prefer to set people up in gardens, to have a number of as many gardens as we can, really. And that's the strength,
Well,
we
that's
think, in
probably
numbers.
more
So.
practical and safer.
But
Long
yeah, we're facing a time where some folks are seeing that legalization is coming, and they're really holding their cards, playing their cards close to the chest, waiting to see what happens with that.
Well, and I would venture to guess there are more than one party involved that would like to see some profit as well.
Unfortunately, there's some profiteers, and they're
Certainly.
not helping the situation any. But prohibition is still holding it back. We've got some hearings going on. There's some legislation right now in the state here that we need to get people to act upon. Coming in 2014, these people that are putting forth the bad laws that are keeping prohibition in place, that's keeping the expense and everything to it. They're going to be coming up for re-election in 2014, and all those folks that did things like voted no when it came to adding PTSD to the list of qualifying conditions. Any representative,
Well, I'll
supposed
tell you,
representative
if
of
I
us,
can interject,
we should de-elect those folks.
if I can interject what you're saying here, I know as far as my son is concerned that because of his mental disability, that this medicine relaxes him. It helps him to relax. Because he has a tendency, his thoughts want to race, and he's going too fast. The meds that he takes, I hate those meds. I wish to God I didn't have to give them to him. Because they also have potential side effects, long-term or otherwise. But this actually helps him relax and feel more at ease and calm. So in its own way, it's beneficial for that as well, even though it's not a qualifying, and just like you say, PTSD as well.
Yeah, just PTSD is now. So yeah, anxiety, bipolar, any of those related. Agitation due to Alzheimer's is one of them. But that's an example. The process whereby conditions are added is a nightmare. We fought for 3 years, I think it was, to get PTSD added, and then it was done by legislation, by a process not where people presented evidence that cannabis is good, safe, effective medicine for PTSD, and something was offered to say, no, it's not good medicine. No, it was pure politics that's been keeping PTSD or anything else from being added. So that's one of the things you want to continue to try to work on and to change the law. So again, in November, we're going to have the chance to change some of the people as well as vote in some laws to make it better.
Well, I know I read recently, I think it was last week, an interview that was done, I think on February 7th with the Marion County Chief Sheriff. I don't know what his technical title is.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
And his viewpoints regarding the whole program, let alone the dispensaries or growers or
Right.
anything else. He and some other woman, I don't know if she's a DA or what, their whole attitude right now is they're going to do everything they can to shut the whole thing down.
Exactly. Yeah. So
And,
that's
so
what
you've got
we-
people in government that are still working against.
Right. Yeah. Now the people that you're talking about there, one of them it sounds like was Marion County Commissioner Patty Milne, who's they're very much on reefer madness. They're throwing out all the reefer madness again. Oh, the children, it's evil and dangerous. They're even saying it kills people, that they're going to be horribly addicted. They're even throwing out nonsense like the children smelling the grows are going to become high and addicted off it. This kind of insane, reefer madness.
My children were born. I had twins, my son and my daughter. For 10 years.
Mm.
And when I discovered I was pregnant, my situation changed and I no longer had access and I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to move out of state. I no longer had any contacts. I was trying to be careful in every way I could, in terms of my responsibility toward my children at the time. And then once I returned to work again, of course I had potential random drug testing.
Man.
I went for years without being able to have anything to smoke. I didn't go through any withdrawals or any this, that, or the other. It's a bunch of BS.
Right.
And I know that from personal experience.
No.
Nor did I get involved in heavier stuff. That also is BS.
Right. The gateway myth.
Yeah, so-called. And that movie Reefer Rat, is hilarious.
Except that these guys are still they're still trying to portray that image,
Couldn't get his putt, and he takes a hatchet and murders his
Right,
entire family.
Yeah.
That was really good.
So
I laughed so hard.
now the important thing to note on these two characters that you pointed out, the Marion County Commissioner Patty Milne, she's running for Senator Peter Courtney's seat. So she's using the Reefer Madness thing for her platform.
What party is she affiliated with?
Republican.
Well, I'd never be voting for them
Anyway, now the sheriff, he's going to be wanting some more dollars. He wants more budget money in 2014. There may even be a levy on the ballot. So folks should look at that. So those two people expose themselves, we make them targets, we de-elect, defund, and otherwise disempower them. Polls all the way through across the nation are showing, that the citizens are seeing this as an issue whereby we judge our leadership, whether or not these people are politicians or leaders, whether or not they're dealing in facts, they're making the hard choices, doing the honest stuff, or they're playing these freaking games. They're lying, they're bullying, they're stealing. They're stealing people's votes, and eventually going to be stealing their money.
Anybody that knows anything at this point in time knows that anything at this point in time regarding most governmental systems or processes is so corrupt. It doesn't matter what area they're involved with. It's all corrupt. And I'm just so disgusted. Like I said, I'm 62.
Right.
When I was 18, I was already out demonstrating, public demonstrations for one thing or another, including signing more than one petition in California at that time to legalize this. And here we are,
Right.
40 years later, roughly.
Right. And,
And,
you know,
and they think people are so stupid.
they keep spitting the same crud, you know?
Yes.
And so what we need to do
Everybody knows.
in any one of these forums that we can is we need to point out that this prohibition has killed more people, more kids, than marijuana, aka cannabis, has and ever will. Because no one's died from marijuana. There's been no overdose deaths, no. And even the stories of someone going amok and killing people under the effects of it is all turned out. I mean, not a single one of those stories has actually turned out, you know. It cracks me up whenever one of these shooters goes nuts. The first thing you hear from the news is whether or not that person ever smoked cannabis, you know, marijuana. And what's buried is what if they were on Prozac or lithium or some of these other drugs.
Well, now they're
you know.
starting to emphasize that more as an excuse because, well, the whole bit about these shootings and everything is becomes somewhat questionable as far as I'm concerned.
So there's another example
But
of how
as
the
to
reefer
relating
madness
it to
and
mental
shit. So.
illness automatically, and or if they're even willing to acknowledge the drugs that are used for this, it's well known. You talk to any doctor, if they're a legitimate, honest doctor, or any pharmacist, or any chemist, it's well known what the side effects from some of these drugs are. They can be horrific as to how they
Yeah.
can change a person's frame of mind, perception, attitude,
Right.
the way they feel.
Yeah, it's insane.
They do just the opposite from what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, doesn't cure this, gives you that problem. Yeah, it's insane that we won't allow marijuana because it might hurt people in some way. It might make you mad. It might give you cancer. Blah blah blah. Yet the stuff that actually does do that, if they just say that real fast at the end of the commercial for it or put it down there in fine print, they're off the hook.
Oh.
So I'm not sure
I saw
why
one, I
we
think
can't
it
do
was
that
on-
same with cannabis thing.
A
You know,
couple
so
years ago, when we still had TV, I saw a commercial that was 10 minutes long. I think it was on a drug that I think was connected in some way, maybe to something like Celebrex or something like that, which of course they have now found out. Horrific
yeah,
potential studies on that.
yeah.
But it was like 10 minutes worth. It was the most hilarious thing I'd ever seen.
Mhm.
Where you're seeing all these pretty little pictures of people riding on bikes and everything, you know, in the park, and it's listing all the possible
Oh, the
side
disclaimer.
effects, and you know, and including the things it's supposed to be
Yeah,
helping with.
and those people should be falling off their bikes and riding if they were going
I
along
know,
with
they
their
should
thing
go
there.
in the opposite direction,
Oh,
you know.
Oh.
But, so yeah, we're good. For folks out there watching, it's about time for us to wrap up. So we're going to say toodles for them. We'll get back to chatting with our guest here. We just want to remind folks that this is the Mercy Weekly meeting. If you want to come here, if you're a patient looking for a grower, hey, if you're a grower looking for a patient, check us out at 1745 Capitol Street Northeast at 7 p.m. We go till about 9-ish. And of course, you can always catch us on the web at mercycenters.org. Thanks a lot. We'll be seeing you next time on Mercy TV.
You forgot about a Friday night?
Friday night show. See us there too. You channel 23 people. Friday, 7 p.m. Be there. Or be a square, man.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.